So, Ant, I have a bit of a fun little game for us. This could go on for forever. This could go on. This could be wrapped up in like 10 minutes. Who knows? But I have an idea that, what if Nintendo goes under tomorrow? Not enough people are buying their games. Not enough people are buying their systems. Whatever. Who cares? Nobody cares anymore. So Nintendo gets bought out, and then they turn into like these Atari and Intellivision collections. Whatever. Who cares? You just get a bunch of games on one thing. And people, they start releasing like big old Nintendo compilations. I'm thinking, let's craft a bit of a definitive list of Nintendo games kind of thing, where you get a bit of a sampler platter of all their systems, all their franchises. I'm thinking, let's pick one game per system of Nintendo's. A Nintendo published game on each of their systems that's like definitive Nintendo. The one catch is we do one game per franchise. So if we do NES and we're like, all right, let's do Mario 1, Mario 3, whatever, then we can't do Mario anywhere else on the list.
And that includes like Kart Racers Party. It's just one Mario Universe game.
I think we could probably stretch things a little bit. So Mario and Donkey Kong will be separate.
Okay.
So based on that, I think we could probably dick around a little bit with like Mario Kart could be its own franchise, Luigi's Mansion, WarioWare Land. Okay. I think those could be considered its own, because I feel like if we're really iffy on spin-offs and stuff, then like, what does Smash Brothers count? Does Mario count as a spin-off of Donkey Kong? So if we do Donkey Kong, does that count as a Mario game or something? I think we can kind of like include some spin-offs, but we can also, kind of I don't know how many spin-offs are really going to be considered here. Are we really going to make Mario Tennis on N64 the definitive game?
So I will say, but like before this, when you gave me the rundown, I did my homework. And we got a little bit of a curveball thrown in at the end, because you said Pokemon Mini right before we started, and that throws a whole wrench into everything, because that outright means no Pokemon game on anything else, which is insane.
Maybe there's an F-Zero game that released on Pokemon Mini. I don't know.
No, even then, I don't know if I would include that.
Let's have some fun. Well, I include a Game & Watch just for fun.
Okay.
Because there are some Nintendo franchises that released on Game & Watch, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like when you talk about definitive Game & Watch games, it's boring, but like my mind immediately just goes to Ball.
I was about to say the same thing. Yeah,
that's like the first one, right? That was their first one.
I think it was their first.
I think it was the first one. Yeah, and like all Game & Watch games are kind of like, I get the same enjoyment from all of them.
Yeah. Like, there are some more unique ones, because they have, like, the 2-screen setups for, like, Donkey Kong and stuff. But Ball, I think, for one, it's the one that they most commonly redo. Like, when they did, I think it was the Mario... Was it the Mario Game & Watch thing where they recreated Ball?
Yeah, with Mario in it, yeah. Or, I think, was Hammer recreated?
Hammer's recreated in the Zelda one. Yeah. For me, the definitive Game & Watch games are either that or Flagman. Flagman's pretty good. But yeah, like I think in terms of definitive, you need simple. And I think like Donkey Kong kind of starts to go a little bit beyond the simplicity.
I think the question I have is, would Donkey Kong appear later on in the list? Could this be Donkey Kong's chance to be there?
Once again, I've cheated and I have already made my entire list. And Donkey Kong, I will say, Donkey Kong's not on my list for any other console. So if we want to get Donkey Kong, we could do Donkey Kong.
I'm currently going to write Ball, Donkey Kong.
Okay.
Which is a great title for a future game, possibly.
Yeah. Donkey Kong Ball-nanza.
Yeah. I think, you also get Zelda.
Yeah, we can let's knock Zelda off the list immediately. No other Zelda games.
There is a balloon fight. There's a balloon fight game. There's Snoopy, Popeye.
Do you want to knock out some of the games that very clearly are just there to... Because we don't want to put them on anything else. Like, oh yeah, Snoopy. So now we can't do another Snoopy game on another console. Like, it's pointless.
I mean, I don't know. Nintendo did develop a Snoopy game on the Super Famicom.
So that's out of the running. Yeah, Snoopy concert. That's out of the running now.
No more Snoopy games. Oh, there's also Punch Out. There's the Punch Out Game & Watch game. That was a recent unboxing.
True. And that's a 2-player Game & Watch game.
Yeah, it's cute.
It has controllers too. Isn't that one of the ones that actually have controllers that come out? Okay.
Yeah.
They did a lot of cool things with Game & Watch, honestly, with that archaic tech.
There's a bunch of like random stuff. There's like transparent screen versions and like crystal. I don't know. There's some cool stuff.
Yeah.
But they also got Donkey Kong Hockey on Game & Watch. So
Mario Cement Factory.
I'm gonna write down Ball or Donkey Kong. But you also think Flag, Hammer.
Yeah. I think Donkey Kong just for one, it's a Nintendo IP. But the 2-screen thing I think is super cool. Ball is the most, I think, common one.
I think it's kind of between those two right now. But we might have kind of an argument later down the line where Donkey Kong might be showing up. I don't know where.
I'll break through my immersion now. I worked backwards on this when you gave me this idea. I went from Switch back.
I don't even know what I'd pick for Switch, man.
See, that's the thing. I went Switch back, so I think I'm good. But it'll make for an interesting conversation because when we hit NES, you're gonna be like, "Really? You're gonna go with this game?" I'm like, "Yeah, I will."
Interesting. Well, for NES, here's my problem. It would be weird to have a definitive Nintendo games list without Mario 1, but that means we can't do any other Mario games.
Correct.
My immediate thoughts with NES would be, Punch Out's really good, that's that was big during then. You could also do something like Kirby's Adventure if there wouldn't be another Kirby game,
right? Because
like Kirby's Adventure was very impressive on the NES. That was kind of like one of the later NES games, so it does kind of show like, hey, you can do this on NES, So with these rules that you're putting out, I would even argue that Kirby's Adventure probably shouldn't, because that game came out after the Super Nintendo. So is that really the definitive NES game? Damn. But I do like Punch Out as a guess. The one I was gonna go for is actually Star Tropics. Oh my God, you're a little goofball. All right, Snoopy on Game & Watch. Listen, all right. So Star Tropics captures the same adventure-y kind of vibes of a Zelda game. It does something really cool, and it goes meta, and it gives you the letter that you have to pour underwater to solve one of the puzzles and rob the robots in there. They added Tetris pieces to the second Star Tropics. I really like Star Tropics, damn it. It's one of my favorite 5 out of 10 video games you could possibly find. Realistically, Punch-Out makes more sense than Star Tropics, but my mind went to Star Tropics. I'll put Star Tropics as a maybe right now, but I think Punch-Out makes more sense. Yeah. I mean, there's also Kid Icarus, even though the original Kid Icarus is like, whatever. The thing is, it's also not good. NES is difficult because a lot of those games just don't hold up. So if you count the games that do hold up, with these rules, they would eliminate them from future things. Like Zelda 1 obviously is iconic, but we don't want Zelda on any other console. But Punch-Out actually does make more sense because in terms of replayability, I think Punch-Out makes sense. I mean, like you could do Mother, like Earthbound Beginnings. It's true. It's not really that good of a game. No, it isn't. But you can do it. Yeah. How about Zoda's Revenge? The second Star Tropics game? Yeah. There's Tetris pieces in that one. That one only released in America. I think so to the first one. But that's also another... Yeah. It came out after the Super Nintendo. So... That is true. I mean... Man, I'm looking at this NES lineup. I mean, like, especially thinking about this, I'm just going like, man, this lineup is ass. Rough. Where does Wario's Woods lie? Where was it? It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. Where... Wrecking Crew? Duck Hunt. I mean, Duck Hunt you can probably make an argument for. You could, but I do kind of feel like Punch-Out still holds up to this day. Yeah. I can, I left an impact. Similar, like I'll give you Star Tropics. You get kind of like an adventure game there. Thank you. And it's solid. It did. It does have a legacy. They published NES Tetris, right? Yeah. So yeah, they did that. Make an argument for that, but I think Tetris will show up somewhere else. Pokemon Mini has a Tetris game. It's true. It's very true. They're not out there. I'm down for those two options. Like honestly speaking, like when I'm looking at this whole list of Nintendo published NES games, I mean maybe that's where Donkey Kong can go, but I feel like you kind of like I feel like it makes sense. Like if Donkey Kong doesn't go anywhere else, I guess Game & Watch, I guess, but like I don't know. I'll write it down to just because like it's like you get an adaptation of the arcade game there, I guess. I don't know. Oh shit. What about Donkey Kong Classics?
You can also get Junior in there. I do like Junior more than original.
I'm gonna put it down.
Sure. That is, yeah, I mean, that counts.
Donkey Kong Classics. Yeah.
Well, then will Metroid Prime Trilogy be valid for Wii if it's just a compilation of multiple games?
All right, fine. No classics.
All these arbitrary rules.
Yeah, I mean, that just makes things too iffy. Because then on Super Nintendo, we'd probably do Mario All-Stars.
Yeah, yeah.
That's easy. So it's just like, that just kind of takes away some of the joy.
I agree.
All right, for Game Boy, this is how we could get Kid Icarus in there. There's theoretically only 2 other options. To be fair, I think Kid Icarus Uprising might be a good pick for 3DS. Because that is kind of like a big ultimate kind of game there.
Sure.
Could do Kirby, you know, born on the Game Boy. Could do Donkey Kong 94 to get the Donkey Kong game in there.
So I had 2 options written for me. One would be Tetris and get Tetris out of the way. Like that to me but then that does become a thing of like Nintendo didn't really develop it, but they did publish it. But we're going by publisher, not developer. So Tetris, I think, is valid.
There's Nintendo characters in there.
Yeah, that's true.
I think when you do two player.
But Donkey Kong 94, that is so good.
I think that is the perfect. Oh, you're right, man. I think Donkey Kong 94 is the way to go.
I think initially I didn't even have DK94 in this. I think I put Donkey Kong somewhere else, but now I don't have Donkey Kong anywhere else. So I'm gonna say Donkey Kong 94 for sure, because that is like, I think far and away the best Game Boy game.
You get the arcade game in there, kind of. You know, it's pretty much all there. Yeah, it's the best Game Boy game. It's the most fleshed out. It feels the best. It's such a good puzzle platformer.
Arguably the best like Super Game Boy compatibility also.
That's really cool, and like everything else, again, like I do have a fondness for the Mario Land games. Wario Land started here, but again, like Wario, I think is going to be filled with the Virtual Boy lineup. Personally speaking, I feel like that's kind of how it's gonna go.
Okay.
Oh, you're talking like you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna pick Galactic Pinball.
Oh yeah, you don't know what I'm gonna pick. I have it all written down.
I bet you it's gonna be immediately like, yeah, it's gonna be Wario.
Okay. Sure.
There's Mario's Picross if we want to get our Mario game out of the way. On
yeah.
Game Boy. Game & Watch Gallery. What could we even pick
I technically don't think that counts. I don't think that counts. I don't think that counts. You can't do Pokemon Red or Blue or Yellow. Can't do any of those. No. Stupid rules.
Yeah, I think Kicks. Kicks is fun.
Okay. I'm glad you think so.
Like Kicks?
I'm not a big Kicks fan. I'll be real with you.
Jesus.
I know. I don't like F-Zero. Right. I don't like Kicks. What do I like?
Picky bastard here. Like, just pushing your food off the table. I think Donkey Kong 94 is the pick.
Yeah, I
agree.
agree.
I think we can eliminate Donkey Kong on Game & Watch out of the running.
Yeah.
And NES Donkey Kong. I think that's the best option here.
I think so.
Donkey Kong 94.
Yeah. It does eliminate, like, Donkey Kong Country and whatnot later on, but I think the consoles that Donkey Kong's also on have very compelling lineups, so we can make that work.
And like the Donkey Kong franchise is weird, man. It goes all over the place. There's not a definitive like this is what Donkey Kong is all about kind of thing. So and I love Donkey Kong Country. I love, you know, I think the Super Nintendo games are great. I think the Retro Studios games are phenomenal, but you know, I wouldn't really call any of them the best games on their respective platforms. They're up there. I'd say like maybe top 5.
Yeah, DKC 2 is close.
But yeah.
Yeah, I know. I would agree otherwise.
So that brings us to Super Nintendo. I was thinking about it this morning, honestly. Like, is this where we want to rip like Metroid? A little Super Metroid?
I think this is where we rip Zelda.
Really?
I think this is where we rip Zelda.
Here?
I want to put Link to the Past on there. I think Link to the Past just shows far and away the jump from 8-bit to 16-bit better than probably any other Nintendo game. Not saying it's the best Nintendo game, but in terms of just the straight console jump, I think Link to the Past shows it the best.
It still holds up crazy well, you know?
Yep.
Feels like a modern game in many ways.
It does. Yes, like sprites are incredible, music incredible, the storytelling with just like the rainy scene at the beginning is great. You get crazy moments of like when you get forced into the dark world with the bunny. Just so many iconic Zelda moments that obviously Zelda has had a crazy legacy since then, but I think this is the spot. Like if I wanted to put my favorite games in here, I'd be like, yo, Tetris Attack. I think it deserves a spot to be the definitive Nintendo game. It's
fair, but Tetris is already might appear on the list.
That's true.
I might throw Super Metroid in the running. Potentially. I can imagine Metroid popping back up, but it's also like, I don't know, I mean, Super Metroid is still really solid. I'm trying to think of the other options, like if Mario Kart's not going to pop back up, but like Super Mario Kart is like, it's cute to look back on, but like, you know.
You can make an argument for Yoshi's Island. There's not many other spots for Yoshi to pop up later on.
And Yoshi's Island is still, I would say that's that's the peak of the series. Like, Woolly World is fantastic, you know, but I think Yoshi's Island just kind of hit it out of the park day one, you know.
Yeah.
There's also Star Fox.
True.
I mean, Star Fox on Super Nintendo doesn't hold up, but it also does. You know?
I feel like there's a conversation to be had about just the most technically advanced games on each console, which is where like Kirby's Adventure would go back in the running, and you could talk about Star Race FX. I think Star Fox would go in that tier. But like once you get past the wow factor of the graphics, I don't think it's that fun because of how clunky it is.
Yeah.
But it is cool.
I think the 3 to do for Super Nintendo as an option would be Zelda, Metroid, Yoshi. I think keep those in the running.
Yeah. No F-Zero?
I mean, like, yeah. I mean, to be fair,
I will contest this. That's the only F-Zero game I like.
the original Super Nintendo one.
Yeah, and I feel like that almost pisses people off more because I tell people I don't like X, but I like Super Nintendo one, and they call me crazy. But that's just where I'm at. I would accept that.
Just you're just owning it at this point. You're like, oh
I have
God,
to.
it
I
does
have
make
to.
F-Zero.
What else? Yeah.
It does make me kind of wonder what to do for Game Boy Color, but I think let's get Virtual Boy out of the way first.
Sure.
I think we gotta do Virtual Boy Wario Land.
I disagree.
Why?
I disagree.
What are you putting there?
I'm gonna.
What, Tellero Boxer?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, I'm gonna put Tellero Boxer in there. Tellero Boxer, I think is
weird ass.
I think genuinely Tellero Boxer is a pretty fun game. And if you want to talk about the definitive game on the console, everyone would argue Wario Land, but I have another spot for Wario. The cool thing with Tellero Boxer though is because of the weird ass controller they did, left and right hand, right there. It works out.
I gotcha. It's like Tellero Boxer is probably the definitive Virtual Boy game, just based on the fact that everything about it does make sense for the console.
Yeah.
Because you're in first person and you're using the 2 D-pads, which like nothing else really used.
Yep.
So sure, I get it.
Virtual Boy Wario Land is obviously the best game on the console, but it is the least needed for the Virtual Boy. It's the least boosted from what the Virtual Boy can do.
All right. Yeah. I understand, but it almost feels like, you know, like... I mean, to be fair, Tellero Boxer is in Smash Ultimate as a spirit.
That's a Nintendo game. That's a Nintendo game.
It is.
I would argue this almost eliminates Punch-Out from the ranking, too. So Star Tropics
I know, it does,
NES.
I know.
Star Tropics gets the NES pool. I told you I thought about this. I put thought into this.
This was a mistake. All right. What, are you picking Wario Land 3 for Game Boy Color, then?
Correct.
Yeah, all right.
What other options are we going to do for Game Boy Color? I'm not going to be, Ham Tower or Hams Unite. Like, listen, good game. But it's no Wario Land 3. Game Boy Color is like a weird thing where, like, obviously you can put any of the Zelda games on there, but then you want that to be the one Zelda game on this bracket. What else is like Game Boy Color, really, that's Nintendo's? Like Bionic Commando, which they didn't publish, we found out. They developed.
Kirby Tilt and Tumble.
Yes.
That's how you get your Kirby game on there.
No.
Mickey Speedway USA, I don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Wario Land 3, I think, genuinely is one of the best 2D platformers Nintendo's ever made. I think that game is genuinely phenomenal. Like an open world 2D platformer kinda on the Game Boy Color with like a day-night system. Like it's crazy. And it's better than Virtual Boy Wario Land.
Yeah, alright.
Listen, people need to go play Tellero Boxer. Go play Tellero Boxer. I'm not insane.
I gotta look at what else Nintendo published on the Virtual Boy then. Just to be sure.
Sure.
I'm not saying Tellero Boxer is bad. But you have Mario's Tennis, Galactic Pinball, Mario Clash, Virtual Boy Wario Land, Nestor's Funky Bowling, and 3D Tetris. You get Nestor in there.
We could get Nestor in there. That would eliminate Nestor from appearing on this list anywhere else.
It would, which would be a
Galactic
shame.
Pinball ain't too bad because it's like the first person. You kind of like, look, that's kind of cool.
It's a pinball game. Would that eliminate Metroid Prime Pinball showing up?
It would, and it would throw a wrench on if you want Pokemon Pinball to show up anywhere.
All right, I understand this form of logic. Fine, whatever. But N64. What's N64?
What do you think?
Are we doing Mario 64? Are we ripping Mario 64 for the Nintendo 64?
I'm not. So I will say this. When you went into this, like you said, we can do like maybe offshoots of like things like Mario later on. I stuck with one Mario game on the entire bracket. So Mario 64 is not on this list.
I feel like there's a chance that Mario might show up for you on the Wii. Then you might do Mario Galaxy.
Okay.
I feel like Mario 64 is kind of like, you know, that is like an all-timer kind of game. You know, I think it would make sense to be there.
It does.
If you have one Mario game to put here, I think Mario 64 would make sense. No Zelda.
Right, no Zelda.
No Mario.
Correct.
On N64.
Correct.
Are you doing Smash Brothers?
I'm not doing Smash Brothers.
All right, so not that.
Blast Core for the Nintendo 64.
Blast Core? You
No, I'm not doing Blast.
You're a freak.
Pilowing 64.
You're doing Pilowing 64.
No, my actual pick I'm doing is Banjo-Kazooie. I think you want to talk definitive for the console. That Rare partnership obviously was immense. You would... Even though they were not really technically Nintendo characters, but they were treating them in the same level as everything else with everything Rare did back in the day. But Banjo-Kazooie, in terms of a game holding up still, Banjo-Kazooie holds up way more than Mario 64 in my opinion. It's still iconic to this day with like the soundtracks and everything. And maybe I would feel differently if Microsoft had made a new game and everything is not so nostalgia coded, but Banjo-Kazooie to me would fill out the list if I don't want to eliminate anything else from the bracket. Because like obviously I think most people would probably click Ocarina of Time or Mario 64. Star Fox deserves a better spot here than on Super Nintendo. Pokemon Stadium and like Mario Party for the multiplayer stuff for sure. But Banjo-Kazooie then just comes down to being the number one to me.
I understand. I didn't think of Banjo-Kazooie because like, it traded hands and stuff at this point, but yeah, Nintendo did publish the N64 one. I mean, Mario 64 still makes sense to me. I'll at least put it next to Banjo-Kazooie as like, all right, we can do that. I feel like Smash Brothers will probably show up again, but, if, then there's an option. Mm-hmm. But I don't think the N64 one is really definitive at all.
I almost feel like I would personally argue for Mario Party over Mario 64.
Would you probably do Mario Party 2 or 3?
I'd probably do 2. Yeah, I'd probably say Mario Party 2 I would put more definitive, because the N64, especially when competing with the PlayStation, was all about the multiplayer games. So Mario Party was like the best thing about that.
I think in terms of Nintendo's multiplayer output, at least in terms of the Mario games, I think Mario Party 2 holds up the best.
Yeah.
Out of like everything. Like Mario Kart 64 officially started sucking like a couple of years ago. It's something that like Mario Kart 64 was always seen as like, oh my god, this game is so good. This is like Mario Kart at its peak, and then like eventually something hit.
Yeah, something hit for all the old ones.
Prior to Mario Kart 8, like and like around the Mario Kart 8 section, this like when that hit in 2014, I think that's when like 64 still kind of felt like the golden child of Mario Kart. Mm-hmm. But then like kind of faded out, especially when like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe kind of became like, all right, buddy, like
I mean that kind of felt like Mario that Kart. For all the sports games too. Like Mario Golf 64 and Tennis 64 were often touted as like the best ones, even with all the sequels.
I got for maybes on N64 Banjo-Kazooie, Mario 64, or Mario Party 2.
I'm okay with that.
I like those options. Game Boy Advance. Okay, so potentially, I would argue Metroid could go here, because Metroid Zero Mission is still one of the best 2D Metroid games of all time.
Yep.
I think it's honestly between that and Dread. Obviously, like, Super Metroid is still really good. Metroid Samus Returns on the 3DS is really good, but I do think, like, Metroid Zero Mission is excellent.
I do too. That is my pick. That is my pick, full stop.
Yeah, there is that. I'm trying to think what else potentially could go there.
Fire Emblem could go here. Yeah,
that is
Fire
right.
Emblem
that is true.
Pretty
Fire
good.
Emblem.
The first time that those games got localized.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like an impactful moment. I mean, like, realistically speaking, I feel like if you got to have one Fire Emblem game, I think Awakening makes sense just because like that was like the most important thing in the franchise.
Sure.
It's just like boom, that one moment. Obviously, stuff like Three Houses kind of like eclipsed it. But there's a reason, as annoying as it is to see like nonstop like Awakening fan service and stuff like Fire Emblem Warriors and stuff, like there's a reason like Awakening was big.
Yeah.
But you also have the GBA one is kind of like hey, that's the first time the franchise hit North America, so I think that could make sense.
That could make sense. I was also going to make an argument at one point for WarioWare Twisted. I thought was really cool. Yeah. Having an actual peripheral of a cartridge, and it's infinitely better than Yoshi's Universal Gravitation. So
you're not a topsy-turvy truther. You're like, it's called this.
Yeah, I'm not. I feel like Kirby, honestly, you can make an argument for this too, because Nightmare in Dreamland and Amazing Mirror doesn't have the strongest level design, but in terms of like open world Kirby with multiplayer, like real-time multiplayer, plus just a really good one with Nightmare in Dreamland. But Kirby might show up somewhere else.
Damn.
Pokemon obviously can't show up here.
Who knows again? I don't know the full lineup on the Pokemon Mini.
They're all Pokemon games.
But there's fucking Togepi's Big Adventure or
That's
whatever.
A Pokemon. All right, so is there a Pokemon game on GBA where that Togepi's not in?
I don't know.
All right, we're gonna go to. I'm gonna research Bulbapedia now.
Mother 3 on GBA.
Yeah, yeah.
That could be the one way Mother 3 gets released in North America.
That is the people do talk about the game the most, only because we don't have it. That is a big Mother 3 fan excited to play Mother 3 for the first time. Is that?
There's also there's Golden Sun.
Golden Sun's good.
It's a solid RPG, but that game won't shut up. It's a very wordy game.
Very talking. Yep.
It's also like it's neat. It's a neat game, but like I just don't really find it to be like, oh, this is definitive Nintendo. You need to have Golden Sun there.
That's just they needed an RPG at the time, so they need like a proper RPG, and that was it.
Could do Advance Wars, because I don't know where else Advance Wars would go, but like again, like Advance Wars is good, but it's also like I don't think you really need it here. I'm happy with those two picks. I mean, like again, like WarioWare, like you're saying, like I do feel like WarioWare is kind of like, where else would it go?
Again, I went with the whole mentality of like only one game per franchise, and I just said Wario. I just picked one.
That is
Wario
true.
game.
I think we might be stretching things a little too much if we do.
I got a consistent list here. This is a you issue. I have a consistent list of games that don't cross over with
then
anything
we have
else.
nothing to talk about then. It's all about talking.
This is a homework assignment. Last time we talked for 4 hours, people got mad at us. So I came in prepared.
All right.
Metroid Zero Mission.
Fire Emblem.
Yes, Metroid
or Fire
Zero
Emblem, who knows?
Fire Emblem.
Who knows? All right, what's on GameCube? What are you thinking for GameCube? I have a couple of options here.
Okay.
Pikmin.
Sure, yeah, of course.
Pikmin 1, I think, is like a infinitely replayable game. Appeared on GameCube. I think it still holds up like super, super well.
Agreed.
You also have Super Smash Bros. Melee, which I think would be big. I mean, there's better Smash Bros. Games in my opinion, but...
Wow, hot take. Hot take with that one.
I feel like the Melee fucking like side of the world has definitely died down a lot over the past decade or so.
They stay in their own bubble for the most part.
Yeah, it's not as much like Melee was the best thing of all time and everything else just stinks.
Yeah.
I'm like, Melee was great, but you know, like I would rather play Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Yeah.
And honestly, Brawl, because I like Brawl's fun little sticker
side
collection.
Mode. Yep.
I don't think Luigi's Mansion Mansion needs to be on this list at all.
There's obviously strong arguments for Wind Waker and Metroid Prime, but eliminating Zelda and Metroid from other categories, like, it just it didn't make sense to me to like eliminate something like Link to the Past or Metroid Zero Mission.
Animal Crossing?
What's interesting about Animal Crossing on GameCube is like in that franchise you would think it's just like every iteration is just like consistently better with more stuff and more things to do. But GameCube is GameCube's in this weird bubble where it's the only time outside of Animal Forest where they did like the grid-based map setup and the villagers are a lot meaner to you. The rules about things like fossils are way more archaic. It has the NES games that you can collect. It's still like its own little beast of a game, while everything went from Wild World to City Folk was just like a steady improvement and advancement of the franchise. GameCube is its own thing, so I mean I think that would make sense.
Yeah, I think that would be kind of cute, but I assume you have another game that
I do. The one that I'm fighting for is Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door.
Was that the Mario game you were? That
is the Mario game that I ultimately went with. Was Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door.
That's wild. That's wild.
Why is that wild? It's one of the greatest RPGs, I think.
You know, it's very good, but you know, going for a straight up Mario RPG instead of any Mario platformer.
Yeah.
That's surprising.
So when I think about what the GameCube is, that was Nintendo being very experimental with all of their IP. Paper Mario Thousand-Year Door is like, it's not the most crazy plot in the world, but it's pretty dark for a Mario game a lot of the time. There's a lot of weird plot points that like don't really feel traditionally Mario, and you've noticed since they have not really tackled those subject matters since. So Paper Mario Thousand-Year Door, on top of just being really fun, is a very unique take on Paper Mario, and has influenced the Mario RPG discourse in such an irreversible way. Obviously, when it comes now, like the version to play is the Switch version, but I figured we were sticking to like just OG versions here. Thousand-Year Door, to me, without eliminating anything else, because who knows, Pikmin might show up somewhere else in this list. Metroid already showed up somewhere else in this list. This was the Mario game that I went for.
I respect it. This
is where F-Zero GX could go, you know?
You know you're not going to let that happen.
I'm not going to let that happen,
know you're
but I'm just saying
nail.
it could go here. It could go here.
It could, yeah. I mean, that's probably the definitive F-Zero game.
It's no F-Zero SNES, but
I like F-Zero, but like I don't think you need F-Zero on a definitive Nintendo games list. I'm just gonna say it.
See, that time Scott said it. Scott said it this time, not me.
In the context of these rules.
Okay, yeah, that you made.
You get one game per franchise. You have to pick the best game per console. F-Zero is probably not gonna show up. It's just how it is. Pokemon Mini. The Pokemon Mini. What's the Pokemon Mini got?
I'll be real. I don't know much about the Pokemon Mini library. This was a fast, haphazard, search. But I have played Pokemon Tetris. Pokemon Tetris was pretty fun.
Tetris is such a big part of Nintendo's lineage, and Pokemon is also as well. You get both in one go.
I can't even say this is like totally outlandish to include because I did own a Pokemon Mini as a kid.
You owned a Pokemon Mini?
Yeah, but I think I had
back in the day?
Yeah.
Damn.
And I think I had the Snorlax game. I had either Snorlax or Pokemon Puzzle Collection. I had one of them. Yeah, Pokemon Puzzle Collection did release in America, so I think I did own that one, but I remember nothing about them. There's Pokemon Pinball on here too, but I just know I played Pokemon Tetris. So that's the one I'm going with.
All right, yeah. I mean, that's the only one I can really think of. It's just like, all right, it's an actual game. Tetris.
Pokemon Tetris didn't even release in America.
Yeah, I think I got it on my shelf over there. I got a couple of Pokemon mini little gremlins over there, and yeah, I messed around with it a little bit, but it's very much like I don't know. It was just a weird thing Nintendo did. It's a quality little device, but it's like, what are you gonna do with it?
I just remember really being into it because I got into Pokemon Channel a little bit on the GameCube because there were Pokemon Mini stuff in Pokemon Channel. And I was just able to be like, oh wow, the thing I have is now in this thing. And I guess clearly a lot of people didn't have that same experience. But that was a cute little thing. That does count as a separate console. It's a cartridge-based console.
It does. And we just completely ripped out any chance of Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver being on the DS pick. Because that was your original pick, right?
That was my original pick. I think that's the definitive Pokemon game, like, full stop.
Bring in Brain Age 2, man. This is going to be pretty cool.
I don't know. Brain Age could show up somewhere else on the list. There's the one where Kawashima turns into a devil.
That was your 3DS pick? Could be your Wii U pick, the DS Virtual Console version.
That's true. That's true.
When I think DS, I mean, like, casual stuff dominates it. I don't think Nintendo's first-party output on the DS was anything that great.
I agree. Okay. I agree. The third parties really floated that DS, but like actually the first party lineup, it's not like it's no good games, but it was mostly third party.
Yeah, and like a lot of it is kind of like, yeah. I mean, yeah, you got 2 Zelda games on it, but they got weird controls and Metroid's on it, but it's like Prime Hunters, which at the time is like, wow, this is awesome, this is crazy. 3D Metroid Prime game on the go, but it's also like, it makes it why are you gonna play that these days? Yeah, Mario and Luigi, but I don't know. I feel like we're milking the spin-offs of Mario a little too much.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue Mario Kart. Because also, like, Mario Kart DS was big.
I think Mario Kart DS is a good option if you're gonna do a Mario Kart game. Like, that is, like, definitive Mario Kart at the time of, like traditional, like, here's a game, Like, Mario Kart 8 ended up becoming, like, crazy. I mean, Mario Kart 8 was great, but this one had so much to it right out the gate,
I feel like Mario Kart DS was, like, the first time Mario Kart was incredible. Mario Kart was good, and then DS, like... It was like, oh no, this is like the best one. Plus there was like had online play and all the missions and stuff. So it had single player content and multiplayer content. Had Rob the Robot. It had the DS download play, which was really cool.
What about Kirby here? Little Superstar Ultra?
Superstar Ultra is very good. That was one of my picks for DS for sure.
We got no Kirby games so far. We got no Kirby games.
I know. I'm waiting. I got my moment.
I mean, like, Superstar Ultra is a remake, but...
Oh, it's better. Like, the thing is...
It's fine, but... As in, like, it's fine to be on this list, I think is...
I agree.
Like, even if it's a remake.
I'm in this weird position where I don't like Superstar SNES, but I really like Ultra. They play more differently than you might expect them to. Superstar on SNES just controls weird to me, but Ultra, they fixed it all, plus added more content. You could argue that is, like, the definitive 2D Kirby game, for sure. So that's an easy argument. But honestly, the pick I went with is another Star Tropics kind of... BS.
Fossil Fighters?
No. I went Rhythm Heaven.
Oh, Rhythm Heaven. Oh, come on.
Listen, it has touchscreen. It's one of the DS games that you turn 90 degrees, and Rhythm Heaven affects my soul in a way that no many other games do. Those soundtracks are emblazoned into my psyche, and I can't even listen to the songs without hearing the sound effects alongside them. Beyonce was in the commercial. That was a big deal, you know?
Huge deal, yeah.
I love Rhythm Heaven so much. And yeah, that was my pick for DS. But Kirby is up there, Mario Kart up there. Those games are really good.
That is true. I mean, like, there's also Nintendogs, which Nintendogs, not that good. And I loved Nintendogs back in the day.
Yeah, it was before everyone had a smartphone, Nintendogs was sick.
Yeah, but if you play Nintendogs these days, there is nothing to do.
Correct.
There is absolutely nothing to do. You walk your dog, you train your dog for competitions. That's it.
Right.
That's all you do in this game. But Nintendogs was huge, but I don't think that really matters.
I agree.
I think that collection is pretty okay.
Yeah, I mean, I do think there's like a conversation to be had about Nintendo's casual era and making definitive things for their casual era. But I mean, we're about to jump to the Wii.
I mean, for casual on DS, like
Touch Golf and Elite Beat Agents, I think was Nintendo published.
Elite Beat Agents is fun, you know, but it's also like, I mean, like for their casual stuff, like I don't even consider Elite Beat Agents to be a great representation for their casual stuff.
I think Rhythm Heaven technically counts as like one of their casual pushes.
Which I think is weird. Like, they gave Elite Beat Agents the Touch Generations label, which I think is like, that is stretching it right there.
Yeah.
But then Rhythm Heaven didn't get it. Stuff like Professor Layton never got it. You know, that just felt always kind of weird to me.
Layton, honestly, like, that is Nintendo published, I think. At least the first one is. But, like, I can make a strong case for that because I adore the Layton games, and that's a really good casual with, like, a good story, and, like, the puzzles do get tough. Like, I love Layton so much.
You throw in Last Spectre, you get 2 games with that. You get, like, Layton's...
It's true. The London Journey or whatever it was called. The Mother 3 looking game.
Which I think was the basis for, like, Fantasy Life.
Yes, I think so.
But it also wasn't included in the European version, which is...
That's right.
They were like, it would take too much to localize, so we're just gonna...
We can also pivot. We can change the Pokemon mini game and put Tetris DS on there, because Tetris DS is very good.
Tetris DS is one of the best Tetris games.
It is.
Like, it's up there, but I feel like as cute as Tetris DS is, I think you kind of get your Tetris fill with Pokemon Tetris. It's like, you know, it's there. It does the job.
But it was one of those things where, like, at the time when you had online play on top of that, like 16-player online Tetris, and a bunch of different touchscreen modes and Nintendo fan service. Like, we'll talk about a definitive Nintendo game. That's a celebration of a lot of 8-bit Nintendo.
Yeah, it is. And, like, you kind of get everything in there. I mean, I'll put it there, but, you know, I mean, Pokemon Tetris is doing so much work over there on the Pokemon mini side of it.
That's true.
All right. Here we get to some more modern stuff. The Wii. I'm immediately thinking Wii Sports, Mario Galaxy,
Link's crossbow training.
You could.
Mario Kart is big on the Wii as well.
That is true. Mario Kart Wii was big.
Smash Brothers Brawl, the hype was ridiculous.
I was going to say this was another place that WarioWare could go because that does a great job showcasing what the Wii Remote can do.
The one that I went with was Wii Sports Resort.
I think Resort is fine. I think that's a fine pick. I'm always like it's almost like I feel like Wii Sports should be there because like it was the original, but like Wii Sports Resort is better. You get a lot more content, and you get some stuff from sports in there. So
yeah, and you know, in terms of accessories, that was like the accessory. It was the Motion Plus, and like it still holds up today because for whatever reason they refused to make another game like Resort. Resort was phenomenal, and honestly, Wii Play Motion, I was almost tempted to put in too because that's an underrated gem.
What about Xenoblade 1?
That's true. God, I love Xenoblade.
That's probably the game that probably looks like it will make your Wii explode the most. They definitely made the most out of the hardware with that. I wouldn't say it's the best Wii game, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't feel like this is what the Wii is all about. It definitely feels like more at home on something like the Switch with Definitive Edition. It might be, you know, and this is me saying this as somebody who, you know, notoriously doesn't give a damn about half of this stuff, but I'm going like, it may not be the best Wii game, but I think it's the best Wii game. You know? Like, it has the most going for it.
It kind of puts itself in the same when we talked about Game Boy Advance with, like, Advance Wars, Fire Emblem, Golden Sun. And I think Xenoblade's better than all those, but, like, at the end of the day, it is just an RPG. Like, it's a really good RPG. Like, it's as close to a 10 out of 10 I think you can get. And in terms of graphical power, again, if we talk about games that are graphically impressive for consoles, Xenoblade deserves to be on there because I don't understand how that game runs on a Wii. It makes no sense to me. And obviously, like, the impact on the Wii with the whole Operation Rainfall movement, like, that's a very important game, for sure. But it is not indicative of the Wii. That was a game where they were like, play with the classic controller.
There's also, like, you know, like, kind of the local multiplayer aspect of Wii. You know, I do think, potentially, if a Kirby game needs to go somewhere, potentially, you know, Return to Dreamland is a good, like, general Kirby game. Like, if you need to embody the whole franchise in one game, that might be a good option.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like you get everything pretty much all here. This is what Kirby is, you know.
It is the most Kirby game of all time. That is true. The first party lineup on Wii is tough because there's so many, like, really, really, really good games. But we're talking about definitive for a console, and it can only be one per franchise. Like, Mario Galaxy 1's my favorite game of all time, just full stop. I'm done with, like, I don't know, my number... I'm just deciding it's my number one.
It's mine too. We're both on the same page here. Which, I mean, like, I think Mario Galaxy would make sense.
That comes down to your rules. I went with the one Mario game per Mario universe. But so then that's your rules.
Yeah.
So,
well, Wii Sports Resort or Mario Galaxy. That's what I'm going with.
I'm okay with that.
We'll go back to it. 3DS. The 3DS. There's loads of options here. Now, like I said, like, I think Fire Emblem Awakening, I think would make sense if we don't go for Fire Emblem on GBA. I think that could make sense there. I think potentially, I mean, if you just want, like, best quality possible, I think Planet Robobot is one of the best 2D Kirby games. That is up there.
That's my Kirby pick is Planet Robobot. I just think that, like, yeah, as far as pure quality is concerned, I think Kirby Planet Robobot is such an easy argument to make as that's the best one. Like, for a while I wasn't sure because, like, it goes so hard on the Robo gimmick and everything is metallic, but when you're actually playing the game, it doesn't matter. It's so much fun. The copy abilities are great. Incorporating them with the robot are incredible, and there are so many really cool set pieces. They do cool things with, like, the cameras, like, swooping around. It's not just a basic 2D platformer. The final boss is, like, arguably the best final boss in the entire franchise. The music's incredible. Like, I think quality-wise, Robobot could be the best Kirby game ever, and that's the one I'm going for because of all the other options on 3DS just wouldn't be applicable. But, like, New Leaf, you can argue for. Metroid, you can make the argument here.
Metroid is good. I just wouldn't say, like, I feel like Metroid showed up on 3DS so late that it's like it doesn't even really feel like a 3DS game, which is weird for me to say. It just doesn't even feel like when we're talking like 3DS memories, I feel like Metroid came out after the Switch, you know. So it's like, other than Federation Force, which that would not be there.
Nope.
Yeah. So it is kind of like Samus Returns is really good, but I just don't really like apply that to 3DS memories.
This could be where Smash goes.
That is true. I love Smash 3DS.
I think I like Smash 3DS more than Wii U. It could be that I spent more time on 3DS. Like, I experienced Smash 4 for the first time on 3DS, so maybe I'm just more attached to it.
Smash 3DS is definitely more interesting than Wii U, because Wii U, by the time Wii U came out, like, I mean, like, you and I, people like us, like, we already played Smash 3DS a bunch. So when you go over to Wii U, it's a little more like, oh, yeah, this is your upgrade. Like, it doesn't feel like, oh, brand new Smash Brothers game. Yeah. When you mess around with some stuff, it's just kind of like, well, the stage selection's not that interesting. And the extra modes in Smash Wii U, like Classic Mode isn't as fun as it is on 3DS.
That sucks.
Smash Tour isn't as good as Smash Run. Like, it's just, you know, like, it's just like, eh. Yeah. And Smash 3DS is, like, very, very cool on the handheld. It runs very well. I'll put it down, but
I was almost thinking like Tomodachi Life can go on here, but then like the Mii games kind of counts as a franchise, and we got Wii Sports Resort in there. Yeah,
it's kind of in a weird spot. I mean, like, they're different, but it's also like, eh. I love Tomodachi Life, but it's also like it is a repetitive little bugger. It is like you see everything in like couple days of playing. If we got the DS game in North America, I don't know a lot about the original DS Tomodachi game, but I you know, looking at videos and stuff, man, those games are so damn similar. Yeah. It's almost like I feel like I feel like if we got the DS game localized it over here, we'd be like, wow, this is just basically the same game on 3DS.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Tomodachi Life is cool, but I don't think it's like definitive 3DS. I think it's a cool side thing on 3DS, but
Yeah.
I think Fire Emblem Awakening, Kirby Planet Robobot, Animal Crossing New Leaf, or Super Smash Bros. For 3DS.
Yeah, New Leaf, just the social element that Tomodachi Life had, I think was just higher in New Leaf. Like, Animal Crossing, that fandom grew to such a large amount for New Leaf in a wave that I didn't see possible. Like, Animal Crossing before that was like, fun games. These are fun little games. For some reason, everyone started to get absurdly hyped for New Leaf. Like, the hype was unreal for it, and it was a really good game. Arguably, it's still the best one, like, better than New Horizons.
I think everybody started to kind of come together, you know, like people remember playing the GameCube one, people remember playing the DS one, people remember playing the Wii one, you know, and like, I think they all kind of came together with New Leaf. I mean, like, I feel like everybody ended up coming together for New Horizons. You know, it's something where, like, I think a lot of people grew up with one Animal Crossing game potentially.
Sure.
And then they're like, oh, wow, this new one's coming out, you know, like, I don't know. But New Leaf was, like, one of the biggest leaps forward for the franchise. Just, like, having a lot more stuff going on. Just the mare aspect alone, I think, was a big push to be like, oh, they're actually doing something a little bit new with this one.
Sure.
You know, still Animal Crossing at the end of the day, but I think those are good options for 3DS.
Think so?
That brings us to Wii U. I feel like this is going to be a little tricky, especially with so many Wii U ports on Nintendo Switch. Pikmin 3 is really good. Pikmin 3 Deluxe is on Switch, but you get Wii remote controls on Wii U. It uses the gamepad fairly well. Nintendo Land, but like,
Yeah, I was gonna argue Nintendo Land, but I think realistically that counts as like one of the Mii games, and I don't want to get rid of Wii Sports Resort, so I kind of just boiled it down to two. One game that's just based on pure quality would Bayonetta 2, because like big third-party acquisition to get that game wouldn't have existed otherwise. That's pretty good.
Are you gonna pick Splatoon?
Yeah, I was thinking Splatoon, because that was like, you know, brand new IP. Obviously the online's dead, so that does kind of take a lot of the wind out of the sails, but one of the things you lose with Splatoon 2 and 3 is like the gamepad functionality was pretty cool. Being able to see the entire splat map on there and then pick where you wanted to jump by tapping it on the screen. But yeah, like, this Kirby and the Rainbow Curse, but we already got Kirby in there.
God no. I like that game's fine, but like, God no. You get a definitive Nintendo game collection if Kirby and the Rainbow Curse is on there. That would just look odd.
Not wrong.
I think Splatoon, Bayonetta 2 makes sense.
So pending on where you want to include Yoshi or Zelda, you could throw Woolly World or like Wind Waker HD.
Breath of the Wild, you could do that there, but at the same time, it is kind of like...
It gets muddy with these weird cross-console releases, because that's not necessarily like it got ported to the next console. That's just the same game.
Right.
Devil's Third.
That'd be funny. I'd laugh. I'd chuckle. I think Mario Maker could be where a Mario game could go.
Xenoblade X has a good argument, but like, again, a lot of the wind gets taken out of the sails with like Nintendo actively trying to make the Wii U irrelevant. And I understand why, but like no online support, all these upgraded ports, like it's going to be hard to go back to Xenoblade X on Wii U because there's a lot of quality of life things they did on the Switch one. So that's why it only boiled down to like what's kind of exclusive still that I don't see coming over. And it's like Nintendo Land. Game & Wario made a lot of good use of the gamepad. It's not a great game.
It made some good use of the gamepad. It's there. The best part about that game is a plagiarized Pictionary game.
Yeah. There's Lego City Undercover.
There is. And Lego City is a cute Lego game.
I did forget Nintendo published The Wonderful 101. That game's incredible.
It is there, yeah.
In terms of like screaming Wii U, it's like not a lot of options.
No, I mean, I don't like Star Fox Zero, but that is an option too.
That is. Hyrule Warrior is also very good. But we got Zelda. That can't be the Zelda game.
I think we can count some Mario spin-offs because like a lot of these spin-offs have become entirely their own thing, you know? Like Mario Kart is basically its own franchise at this point. So like Hyrule Warriors, I think that's still a little too... Zelda has spin-offs, but they're not as defined as Mario spin-offs, I think. I feel like Splatoon makes the most sense. I might just hit that.
Either Splatoon, or if we settle on Mario Galaxy for Wii, then I think Nintendo Land could be there. Because Nintendo Land's still fun.
Yeah, it's good. And it... it's still one of the best looking games on Wii U. They hit it right out of the park. Like it looks really good, and you get a bunch of different Nintendo franchises in there, and the best gamepad support is still probably in Nintendo Land. I think I'm just gonna hit it Splatoon 1. I think that makes the most sense to me.
I think that's fair.
Nintendo Switch, I don't even know where to begin with this, man. I mean, like, when it comes to definitive Nintendo Switch games,
there's a lot.
Yeah, that's the problem. And like, you could do some games that appeared on Wii U here, but I don't know. I think potentially, like, the one game that screams Switch to me, it was right at launch, like, you get Breath of the Wild. That game did so much to just kind of like really sell the hybrid console concept. Just the fact that it's just like, here you have this giant open world game, one of the biggest open worlds out there, and you can play it on the go, and it works perfectly. Then again, you know, like, it is kind of tricky when, you know, we've already discussed a couple Zelda games potentially doing Link to the Past. This could be where a Kirby game could go with Forgotten Land. It definitely does some more unique things, but it feels like a great culmination of that franchise, you know, like, hey, boom, we're in 3D now. I think a big element of the Switch was kind of like moving franchises forward, you know, going forward with them, you know, Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, Kirby got that with Forgotten Land. I mean, if you want to do a Splatoon-ass thing with Wii U, you could do ARMS.
I'm not that crazy. All the things I've said so far, that's where I draw the line. I'm not here to defend ARMS like crazy.
What are you thinking? What were you thinking for Switch?
God, the Nintendo Switch library is insane. Their first-party output is ridiculous. Just in terms of Wii U ports that got upgrades, like Bowser's Fury, games you never thought would come out, like Metroid Dread. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is like one of the best stories Nintendo's ever told. The one that I'm settling on is Pikmin 4. That's the game I think I'm settling on. Yeah. I think it is one of the most content-dense Nintendo games of all time. That game does not really even need DLC. Like, in terms of things to do and missions to go on, you have a whole main quest, you have the nighttime stuff, you have a lot of post-game stuff. There's like so much to do in that game, and like outside of the start taking a little bit, there's no filler. It's one of the prettiest looking games Nintendo's ever made. It's a little too easy, but I don't really care. You know, and unlike a lot of other Switch games that are very ambitious, like Breath of the Wild, like Pokemon Legends Arceus, it has no real performance issues. So, that's good. I feel like Luigi's Mansion 3 you can make an argument for easy, but yeah, man, just Pikmin 4, I think I've also settled on it just being flat out my #1 Switch game, like, full stop. So, it's hard for me to pivot on anything else.
No, Pikmin 4 is, like, incredibly jam-packed with, like, literally everything. I think the only problem is that the multiplayer isn't as good as it was in like, Pikmin 3 and 2.
Yeah, Bingo Battle is definitely a lot better than Dory.
It's still alright. Like, it's fine.
Depending on your rules, like your Mario rules, Mario Maker 2 could go in here, because Mario Maker 2 is fantastic.
Yeah, I think Mario Maker is technically considered mainline.
Yeah.
It is, but it isn't. You know, it's in that kind of weird thing. They group it in there sometimes.
And like, obviously, like their output of updates and stuff was very lackluster for Mario Maker 2, but that does not disqualify like what's actually in there. Like, there's still a lot you can do in there. It's a whole story mode. That's really fun. Story mode in Mario Maker 2 is more fun than New Super Mario Bros. Any of them. I think.
I mean, if Smash Brothers doesn't go anywhere else, Smash Brothers Ultimate is pretty big.
Sure.
It's almost boring to gas Smash Brothers up at this point.
I agree, and like an interesting thing of like when you were discussing like we can't do more than one game per franchise. Like when I look at Smash, it's like the celebration of every Nintendo franchise. I mean, granted, I did make that argument for Tetris DS. That kind of eliminates that.
You're not very.
I'm not very consistent. I am slipping.
Smash Brothers would count. I think that could count here. Which is why I feel like it makes sense for GameCube. I'd probably argue it for GameCube.
Sure.
Because like, as much as I do love the museum aspect of Brawl, I like a lot of things about Brawl. You know, like even then, like Melee is almost too fast for my feeble little brain.
So if the idea is like definitive Nintendo game. If it's like this one game per franchise idea, Smash Ultimate has to, if any Smash is going to go in, it has to be Ultimate because everything else is like objectively lesser. Like mechanically you can argue, but
I almost feel like it's not even like, it doesn't have to be about like, oh, it's the definitive game in that franchise. It's more so like this game is the perfect example of this console while also being like definitive for the franchise, blah blah blah, all that stuff.
Sure.
I feel like Smash Brothers Melee was a better showcase for the GameCube than Smash Ultimate was a showcase for the Switch.
Sure.
GameCube is like, oh, 4-player multiplayer, oh my god, everything's so smooth now, you know, like, oh my god, it's such an upgrade from Smash 64. And Smash Ultimate is just like, it's Smash Wii U but more and better, you know.
Sure.
Like,
sure.
That kind of thing. So, yeah, it is the ultimate one. I kind of... going with all this, man, I think Pikmin 4 makes the most sense.
I mean, like, if you think about, like, the strong suits of the Switch, just the portable nature of it, there's so much to do in Pikmin 4, but it still all comes in bite-sized chunks. So, for the portable aspect of it, it's still a pick-up-and-play game. And even though Dandori Battle is not as good as Bingo Battle, I still think Dandori Battle's fun, so you do have the multiplayer aspect in there.
And the game is just massive.
It's gigantic.
And it's almost like a big culmination of the Pikmin series up to that point.
Yeah.
Because Pikmin 3 is almost like, hey, let's do another Pikmin 1. Pikmin 4 is kind of like, let's do another Pikmin 2, but let's kind of combine, like, everything from every Pikmin game. Like, let's just make this, like, Pikmin Ultimate at that point.
Yeah.
Like, it does feel like Pikmin 4 is Pikmin Ultimate.
Yeah. And what's nice is that the game never overstates its welcome. There are a lot of games that, like, just go on for too long. Like, a lot of people have argued that for Zelda. Like, there's too much to it. Pikmin 4, like, amazingly enough, for being, like, a 30, 40-hour game, never felt like that, because there's just so many different avenues of content to go down.
All right, fine. Pikmin 4. Pikmin 4 it is.
I got my Pikmin poll.
This is my current list of
Okay.
options. So Game & Watch, I think we're just going with Ball.
That's fine.
No arguments here. I think Game & Watch games are cute. And
Sure.
they still hold up in many ways. I think they're very impressive. I don't have a damn favorite one. I don't care. Most of them are all like the same, like, oh, this is fun. And I appreciate how unique they are. They are a million times better than Tiger Electronics nonsense. But Game & Watch games are all kind of like the same in terms of like, oh, this is simple fun. I don't really have a favorite. I mean, think like, Ball is the one you do. This is the first one.
I've unironically been playing Game & Watch Gallery like a decent bit lately. I just felt like a random urge to go back through it. And there are some good ones in there, like Fire's good, Donkey Kong's fun, Boxing is good, Octopus is also very good. But yeah, Ball is like the definitive. Plus, it's also, you know, a good look at Mr. Game & Watch as a guy. Yeah, that's a whole ass character, you know?
Yeah, you're just like, oh my god, finally I get a full body shot of Mr. Game & Watch in Ball.
Yeah.
If anybody argues with which Game & Watch game should be here, consider this to be a insert your favorite one here as long as it's not associated with Mario, Zelda, or Donkey Kong. There you go. Like, I'll pick Ball because it's the first one and it's like, big.
Yeah, and I'll go Flag if we need a second one. I think Flag is pretty
You
good.
go Ball, I go Flag.
There we go.
In terms of that one, we got that locked down. Game Boy locked down Donkey Kong 94. I'm happy with that pick.
I am too.
I think that's perfect.
Still, God, it's so good. Like, so many all those
It's
old
amazing.
games really, like, feel dated, but DK94 just... It was also, like, the introduction of, like, acrobatic Mario. Like, it was before Mario 64, he was doing backflips and stuff.
Yeah, you got a lot of his Mario 64 moves in that game.
Yeah.
And it's super good. Wario Land 3 is the Game Boy Color pick. Makes sense. Pokemon Tetris is the Pokemon mini pick.
Sure.
Now, Virtual Boy, yeah, I think it comes down to it has to be Teleroboxer then.
Let's go!
Damn
Let's go!
Yeah, alright.
It's a good game! What is this... Like, Tellerboxer,
Alright,
I genuinely think should get like a remake or something. Like, something about these giant mechs fighting each other is pretty sick. And like, or just make Arms 2.
This is the
Just
most
make
like
Arms 2 and throw the
online thing I've
Tellerboxer
heard in my
there.
life.
You
That's the most like
you put
I'm
me down
online
this
a
path.
Nintendo fan. Yeah.
You put me down this path. There's nothing else. Like, Virtual Boy sucks, bro. Virtual Boy's a terrible library. Like, Mario Clash isn't fun. What else is on the stupid thing? Oh, Red Alarm. We didn't talk about Red Alarm.
Well, then we can't do... Okay, Teleroboxer is not a Punch-Out game.
It like almost. It's the same. It's the same thing.
I looked it up on Wikipedia. Teleroboxer...
You put 2 boxing games on this list. Nintendo has 2 definitive boxing games.
Punch-Out is mentioned 4 times in the Wikipedia article for Teleroboxer, and it's all under the reception section. So people are just comparing it to Punch-Out a lot. But I love Punch-Out NES. And I feel like Punch-Out NES is such a good pick for that damn system.
As much as I love Star Tropics, I think Punch-Out makes more sense.
I don't know, but it is also kind of weird, you know? That Punch-Out and Teleroboxer. But it's like, are you really going to be like, oh, you have Teleroboxer, so Punch-Out isn't needed, you know? Like, it's just... I don't know.
It's your rules! You made up the rules! I would love Virtual Boy Wario Land to be on this list. Like, that's the only good game on the console.
Punch-Out, Punch-Out. It was an arcade game for Nintendo. It has the legacy.
Oh yeah, we didn't pick arcade Nintendo games.
You want to do that?
No.
Alright. Super Nintendo. I have Link to the Past, Super Metroid, Yoshi's Island, F-Zero. Now, I think we kind of just went with Link to the Past for the majority because we didn't consider any other Zelda game for any other console. I think A Link to the Past is potentially the most, like, fully fleshed out, not fully fleshed out, but more so, like, well-rounded, like, there's not a lot to bitch about with A Link to the Past.
Yeah.
It's just a good, it was a really good Zelda game. And I think it does a really good job just defining the whole series right there.
Yeah, because like realistically, Ocarina is just Link to the Past in 3D.
Yeah, but to be fair, Ocarina is more iconic.
It
and
is.
More people are like, oh, Ocarina is the best game of all time. It's my favorite game of all time. And you hear more of like, like it's kind of like a lesser opinion. Maybe not, I don't feel like people get pissed when people say Link to the Past is better, but more so like you hear Ocarina as like the championed a lot more as like, oh, the best game of all time.
Yeah.
Oh, this is my favorite game of all time.
Yeah.
And then you hear more people say, well, actually, Link to the Past is better.
I mean, I do unironically like Link to the Past better. Something it just feels snappier.
I'd rather play Link to the Past.
I'd rather play Link to the Past. But I mean, like, as far as Zelda goes, obviously, like, I'd rather play, like, any of the other 3D Zelda games. But Link to the Past, I still think, like, in terms of for Super Nintendo, the upgrade is still crazy from NES. Yoshi's Island, I think, makes a good argument, too, because that's still one of the prettiest games on the console. And it took advantage of, like, special chips and stuff. So you got cool new effects.
Yeah.
Yoshi's Island is such a thing where, like, how Link to the Past defined the franchise. Yoshi, every time they do anything with that character, it always gets compared to this one game. They have yet to top Yoshi's Island, so...
I think we go with Zelda. Realistically, or unless we want to do, like, something like Yoshi's Island or F-Zero on Super Nintendo... Then for N64, could do Ocarina.
I'm still gonna say Link to the Past personally.
Let's do Zelda. I kind of want to skip around a little bit. Just go to let's go to Wii.
Okay.
Wii Sports Resort or Mario Galaxy.
I'm not opposed to either of these. Again, my favorite game of all time.
Yeah.
And then Wii Sports Resort is probably my favorite casual minigame collection of all time too. Like Wii Sports Resort's fantastic.
Mario Galaxy, if we don't want to do something like, let's say, Mario 64 or I'm just gonna say I'm not in the Paper Mario train for GameCube. I love Thousand Year Door, but I just don't agree with it as the GameCube pick.
You were less argumentative with Star Tropics than you were with Paper Mario.
Yeah. Thanks for noticing.
I'm fine with Mario Galaxy, of course.
Mario Galaxy is better than Wii Sports Resort.
Yes.
I mean, we don't really have a ton of those casual games, but like Mario Galaxy is Mario Galaxy, and it uses the Wii Remote a lot.
Yeah, that's the thing, is the beauty of Mario Galaxy. A lot of people are like iffy with like the motion controlled stuff, but it does utilize like every element of the Wii. It has the motion controls, it uses the speaker. It even would send you messages on the Wii message board when you did things like, well, Luigi was lost, so he sent you a message on the Wii.
I think I'm gonna go with Mario Galaxy.
Fine, we'll go with my favorite game of all time.
You get a bunch of junk with that one, and like it feels like when it comes to like, okay, if this collection is really trying to showcase you like these are all Nintendo's like achievements, I feel like Mario Galaxy almost feels like a massive achievement from them, like it's just like, oh my god, look at this is like your magnum opus.
It is, yeah, and still incredible to this day.
That brings us to Nintendo DS,
Rhythm
Mario Kart
Heaven.
DS, Kirby. Honestly, I know you're kind of joking around about Rhythm Heaven. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but like also like where else would a Kirby game be?
I'm set on Planet Robot being the best Kirby. And then
true.
Now it is ultimately down to your rule if you count Mario's spin-off as like a thing.
Yeah, I mean like
Mario
Kart is such a massive thing, it's pretty much Nintendo's key franchise at this point.
Yeah.
And that's weird. That's a little weird to say, but it's also like it is. But it's also like Mario Kart always is kind of in the shadow of the mainline games in terms of like the mainline games are still like more, I guess, important to the grand scheme of the franchise.
Outside of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That's like the only one.
So, Mario Kart DS I think would be a good pick, but like, I don't know. I'm getting kind of sick of that damn franchise Mario there. Talking about Wario Land, Donkey Kong 94.
Listen, the reality of it is the DS's first party lineup is pretty mediocre. They really were riding high on putting out games on the Wii and then third party doing the creative things. A lot of the DS's best games are average experimental titles.
And Mario Kart DS is still really, really good.
But Mario Kart DS is still really good.
Yeah.
And so is Rhythm Heaven. Rhythm Heaven still holds up.
That's like one of the best casual games on DS that's not a casual game, Like they marketed towards casual people with Beyonce.
Clearly successful because we still talk about it.
But Kirby Superstar Ultra is like, Superstar is generally seen as like, oh man, that's the best Kirby game, you know?
Yeah, and they did add some DS equivalent stuff because there's like touchscreen mini games and stuff they added to it. There's good 2-screen setup.
As a kid, I just thought it was a new Kirby game.
Yeah, they added good like multi-screen stuff for like the Great Cave. You know, you got to see a map on the bottom screen.
Yeah.
So Superstar Ultra is a very valid pick. I mean, I guess we can come back to this, but I would argue Superstar Ultra over Mario Kart. And then it's just if I'm risky enough to get rid of Rhythm Heaven.
Would we put Mario Kart somewhere else then?
The funny thing is, you can try and be quick and be like, well, Mario Kart 8 then, put it on Wii U. But Mario Kart 8, Mario Kart 8, not that great, honestly. The track lineup needed a lot more sauce, which we got with the DLC and Deluxe. The battle mode sucks. The character lineup kind of sucks.
This is some revisionist ass history. I loved Mario Kart 8's track lineup.
Mario Kart 8 has, okay, so I'm not saying it's, okay, I don't think, it's not trash. But it's so hard. It's so hard to go back to how bare bones and limited 8
That's
was.
Understandable, yeah.
Because like how a lot of people, including yourself, are like, "Oh, Mario Kart 7 just another Mario Kart." To me, for a while, Mario Kart 8 felt like, "Oh, they're just Mario Kart again. We just got another Mario Kart."
I do really love the starter lineup in Mario Kart 8. I don't really think there's like a bad track in there, but I'm also sick of those tracks. You know,
Could be the result of playing the same game for 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's just me. You know. I understand. I've seen a couple ranking videos of Mario Kart 8 tracks lately, and they're saying what you're saying. They're just like, man, some of these starters are bad.
It's like Water Park sucks. The desert, Dry Bones Desert, whatever kind of sucks. There's whatever. That's getting into the minutia of Mario Kart. 8 is still really good, but if anything, it would have to go with Nintendo Switch. If anything. And then I would then fight tooth and nail to get Pikmin on GameCube instead.
What if Smash Brothers goes for 3DS, Kirby's on DS, Mario Kart's on Switch, and then Pikmin's on GameCube?
You know what? I don't hate that. I honestly don't think I hate that all that much.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is probably the after the Booster Course Pass, that is probably one of the greatest accomplishments Nintendo's ever made.
It's the most successful thing Nintendo's ever done.
I mean, think about everything included in that game. That is like one of the fucking wildest like content amount of content in a game like that ever.
Yeah.
96 courses. You're up to like 40-50 characters or something.
And obviously the multiplayer component and stuff.
The only problem is like kind of lack of single player. But then again, you know, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and then it only comes down to like if you want to keep that arbitrary rule of like it needs to be the original version. But like they added so much to Deluxe. They added so much. They doubled more than that. They more than doubled the amount of content in the game. So it's barely recognizable.
Here's the thing, man. I feel like Animal Crossing has to be here though. I think 3DS gets Animal Crossing. New Leaf was massive. And I think that's like kind of like the go-to, especially with the Welcome Amiibo update. I think that gives you like, to many, that's the best Animal Crossing game.
It is, yeah.
And that was like the biggest leap forward. And I think like, especially with like, they introduced Isabelle in that game. You get Puzzle League in there too with Welcome Amiibo.
Sure.
And then you get Kirby on DS with Kirby Superstar Ultra. That's considered one of the best Kirby games.
Here's the thing: the comment section is going to tell you that you should put Melee in GameCube.
Well, then what if we put Smash Brothers on the 64, and then you get Smash Brothers there? Smash 64 is cute. It's cute.
Are we at the point where we just stop caring and we just piss people off? Like at the very end of the tier list video again?
Oh my god. Mario Kart, I feel like, needs to be here.
I almost don't feel like Smash has to be here.
Is that just because we're burnt out on Smash Brothers? I'm honestly a little burnt out on Smash Brothers after getting just all this stuff with Smash Ultimate. I'm just like, I'm good. I don't really, it's not like a huge thing on my head. Like back during the Wii U days, like Smash Wii U was so like on my head all the time. I'm going like, oh my god, what characters are going to get revealed? What, like, oh my god, I love this element about Smash Brothers. I haven't thought about Smash Brothers in so long, man.
So that's not how it is for me, but like, I respect that. But like my thought process when it came to like these one per franchise thing was like Smash Ultimate, ultimately relies on other franchises. It's kind of different than just like a Tetris DS, which just is fan service, like it's just flourish. Smash Ultimate in any Smash game relies heavily on the other franchises, so I think by proxy, those franchises end up being more important. Because you can't have those things in Smash without them ignorantly existing. So obviously, if we're not doing any arbitrary rules, you could argue that Smash is the most important on any console it's on. Because it brings people together in ways that no other game has. But for the sake of this list, I almost argue you don't even need Smash on any of them.
But when you're saying that Smash Brothers isn't as much its own franchise, to that, sir, I give you this. The Mites.
It's true. Yeah, it's true.
It's its own franchise.
That's true. Okay, I'll just...
Yeah.
Once again, my opinion is invalid, which is fair.
But I understand what you're saying.
It's your list. You can tell me to F off if you want.
That's why you're here.
Well, I would fight for Pikmin. That's what I'm saying. My list would be I would go GameCube for Pikmin.
That's what I'm thinking too. Okay? I don't care. We're doing it. Okay? Pikmin 1 is the GameCube pick. It's one of Nintendo's big franchises. Even if it doesn't sell as much as other ones, it's consistent.
It also matches like the GameCube identity of being experimental.
To be fair, we could do Pikmin 2, and that brings the GameCube identity even further in with the multiplayer.
Yeah.
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 I like Pikmin 2, but
Pikmin 2
it's
is
probably
very,
my least
is a very
favorite
mean
of the
game. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Pikmin 2 until I play it. And then when I play it, I'm like, this game sucks. And then I beat Pikmin 2, I'm like, that was great.
But you do get that Pikmin experience, and you get more of it. Like Pikmin 2 is very frustrating, but like it has a lot to it.
It does.
And you get the multiplayer mode, and like if you still play it, you're still playing Pikmin, and it's still good. So I almost feel like you pick Pikmin 2 because multiplayer is also a big element of the Pikmin franchise.
Yeah.
Pikmin multiplayer is big. I'm gonna Pikmin 1/2 right now. We'll figure it out later. I think Nintendo Switch gets Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Sure.
Nintendo 3DS, Animal Crossing New Leaf.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Yeah, especially with the Welcome Amiibo stuff.
So I guess we're just not doing Fire Emblem then.
I do love Fire Emblem, but when you compare it with everything else, like it's tough. Like obviously the impact of Awakening completely reinvigorating that franchise is ungodly. And realistically, if you wanted to go even deeper down the rabbit hole, if you wanted to include the mobile Nintendo games on there too, because there's a big lineup there, I would argue Fire Emblem would take that crown because Heroes is still doing great for them. But yeah, like it's hard to top any other of the contemporaries on those consoles.
At least with the GBA, it's kind of cute because it's just like, oh, that's the first time it came out in North America. Hooray.
And those games are still good. Like the styles in those games are immaculate.
Either way. DS, Kirby Superstar Ultra.
Sure.
GameCube, I think Pikmin 1 or 2 makes sense. I think it's your final call. What do you think? What do you think for GameCube? Pikmin 1 or 2?
I can't believe I forgot about 2, but I think I'm going to go 2. Yeah, just like to have... Because then you have the multiplayer component, which I always think is very important for some of these games where like the multiplayer is really good. Obviously, Melee, in terms of being iconic, is bigger. But I think that's one of those franchises where it just keeps getting better with each one. So if you wanted definitive Smash, you wouldn't play it on GameCube.
GBA, Metroid Zero Mission. I think that's just what we're doing there.
Such a good game.
Gotta have Metroid, and honestly, it's still probably one of the best 2D Metroid. Metroid Dread is it for me, and these are my two like main 2D Metroids. Like I played all of them, but like these are the ones that I ran through, and I'm like, oh my god, these are incredible. Metroid Dread is much longer and much more in depth, but there's something very nice about the simplicity of Metroid Zero, and it's not even it's not even like a simple game. Like, oh, it's a very simple game. Like, no, like comparative to like Metroid Dread, it's a lot more simple. But
well, both those games just have a sense of flow that Metroid is known for. But I mean, Zero Mission's more colorful. It's not so much about movement tech in Zero Mission as it is in Dread.
Right.
But yeah, those are the top two 2D Metroids for sure.
So that brings us with N64, and I wrote down Banjo-Kazooie, Super Mario 64, Mario Party 2. I'm going to break down Smash Brothers 2.
Sure.
And this is our final thing to argue here, unless something else comes up. Here's my thing. I definitely respect the Banjo-Kazooie pick. I think my problem is, at this point, I don't consider it a Nintendo game. Even though it isn't, it's just so weird. It's in such a weird place with Rare being owned by Microsoft and stuff. Like, it's just... It's definitely in a strange spot.
No, that's valid.
But Mario 64, we already got Mario Galaxy. We could swap that out for Wii Sports Resort, but...
No, I mean, I get it. Banjo-Kazooie is one of the greatest platformers of all time, and it still is today. I know. And of that era, it's such a big deal for the Nintendo 64, but yeah, it's not... That is like the loosest example of a Nintendo game on this list. It's just Nintendo did publish it.
Yeah, they published it, and they owned a good chunk of Rare back then. I think they owned like 49%.
Something like that.
And like it would be cool to get a Rare thing here, but it is something that's like, if they would include this, like let's say in this definitive Nintendo compilation, like let's say if this would actually release, which it wouldn't, they probably wouldn't. They would not include Banjo-Kazooie. You know, it might be on like an N64 mini classic edition. You know,
Yeah.
I think it would for sure be on that. But yeah. But Smash 64 is just kind of creepy.
I like the vibes of Smash 64.
It would get a Smash Brothers game here, but like you're saying, like, you know, it's such a big element of a Nintendo console, though. Whenever a Smash Brothers happens, it's an event, you know? It's why a lot of people buy Nintendo consoles. It's huge. If you're not going to have Ultimate or Melee, I do feel like at least having that original there, at least like boom, and like it does have the multiplayer aspect there.
But I have more fun multiplayer-wise with Mario Party 2. I think Mario Party 2 is a much better multiplayer experience.
Well, what's more important to Nintendo, Mario Party or Smash Brothers?
Smash, but then
And yeah.
let's my next pivot, Mario Party 2 for 64 and then Smash for 3DS.
And you just get rid of Animal Crossing?
We got it. Clearly, we got to get rid of one of them.
Yeah, but Mario Party is just not that important at the end of the day. I love Mario Party. And Mario Party 2 is Mario Party holds up probably the best out of any Nintendo 64 multiplayer game. You can still play Mario Party 2 and it's like good.
Yes.
And Smash Brothers does not hold up as well at all.
Agreed.
There's not a ton of reason to play Smash 64 other than to just look back at it and be like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
I'm fine with going with Mario Party 2, but it feels wrong.
I don't think so. I think that feels just right.
You just want to get out of this.
I don't want to get out of this. I've already made my point clear. I don't think this list needs Smash. As good as Smash is, I don't... Like, if anything, the most important console Smash has been on is the Switch, because they managed to maintain like 3 years of hype, or 4 years of hype just on that one game alone. It did a lot for them and all these partnerships and stuff. It brought third parties in. Like, obviously, in terms of being important for Nintendo, it's Smash Ultimate.
But without Smash 64, you wouldn't have Smash Ultimate.
So then let's do Smash Ultimate for Switch, and then Pikmin on GameCube.
And then Mario Kart 64 on N64.
Mario Party 2 on 64. We don't need Mario Kart 64.
You need a Mario Kart. You need a Mario Kart. Mario Party is the least...
So then we get rid of Mario Galaxy and put Mario Kart Wii.
F*** it. Banjo-Kazooie.
Banjo-Kazooie.
I'm
Jesus
done.
Christ.
I was fighting for Smash Brothers, but we'll do Banjo-Kazooie. That's the only one where I'm like, sure. I feel like Mario Party versus Smash Brothers was gonna get us nowhere. I think Banjo-Kazooie is the only one that's like, fine, whatever.